Hello. Let's just make sure that we can do this. Why? I don't know why this is factored this way. Like, why do I have to make a bunch of parameters? Default Mirage params. I mean, I guess I'll just add a ton of parameters. It's just kind of dumb. Got a pizza in the oven yourself. That's good. I had a pizza made for me by fine people a couple days ago, and I've got one slice left. I had three slices today. There is one slice left. Okay. We're just going to spam it, dude. Actually, we'll do this. The thing is, most will not want these. So what do we set the planes to? Non-clipping plane. All right. Okay. Oh, that's a vector 4. And we're going to need to do this everywhere. Oh. We're going to need to do this everywhere we call add draw events Mirage. There's only one other place. And it's right down here. And maybe that will compile. And if it compiles, maybe it'll even render. Mirage clip plane is not a member of Mirage params. I thought I said that. Oh, I called it parallel. Planes parallel. I called it lateral at first, and then I renamed it parallel. Because I felt parallel was more descriptive. It's a plane 3. Then what? What? Then why are they vector 4? Oh, it's because it's as plane 3 has an as vector 4. Dude, I don't know. Let's just do this. Like what? Do we have a contravariant cast thing? Type wanted. Oh, wait. Non-clipping plane is float. Oh. No, I was just dumb. I was just dumb. It's fine. Let's look up the definition of this to be sure, by the way. Why the fuck is that a run directive? I forget. So this would be 0, 0, 1, and then would it be plus 1,000 or minus 1,000? Well, it depends on how we interpret the plane, I guess. But how is this, right? We'll just print it out, just so that we make sure not to brain fart. Just having a run directive for that every time we compile is goofball, right? Okay, so here the problem is this is not plane 3 dot, right? Not dot brace, it's dot. Ugh, I deleted the semicolon that we use every day. All right. So who knows what's going to happen? Did you? I stopped reading at the letter U. Sorry. Trader Joe's has a decent dough to make homemade pizza a little easier. Dude, I have tons of stuff to make really good fried rice, and I practiced for like a week. So I can make good fried rice, and I never even do that. So, how you be thinking I'm going to make a pizza is my question. All right, it still renders. Um, we didn't break the shader because the mirror beam still shows up and stuff. So that's good. Where's our log though? Why am I not seeing log this? Oh, because this is probably in the wrong one. That's spawner mirage. Let's do it back here. We're logging. It's plus 1,000. Okay. We knew that. We're just making sure. Because the thing is, well, actually, I think that's flipped from the way I would normally do a clipping plane, is what's confusing about it. Because I like the positive. Wait, I like positive to be in. Oh, that is positive in. So maybe it's fine. Roommate that made really good fried rice. Well, that's good. Okay, so the next step is that we want to do some stuff with the planes. And last time we were working on this, which was like a freaking week ago or whatever, because I've been busy, um, we were doing a thing where when stuff fell through, we were like, oh, it's it's not right now, but we don't actually want to scissor it because you'll end up seeing into the object. But I realized, oh, if we have these special clip planes, um, we could actually squish the vertices to the plane, right? And so, and that would look goofy if you were looking really close up with big triangles, but hopefully with small triangles and all these things, um, it's just okay. So yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that feels. You don't really need day-old rice. You can also just make the rice with less water than normal, and that works okay. But of course, if you make it with really not enough water, then that sucks. You got to dial it in. Sesame oil, no. Sesame oil is finishing oil, as Uncle Roger will tell you. Canola is also gross. I use peanut oil, which is definitely a seed oil, but it's not one of the worst ones. You use olive oil. Well, Uncle Roger would call you Jamie Olive Oil for that. Okay, so we need to set these planes. And then hope that we got them correct. So like we said, in is fine. So this is all, yeah, this is the mirror code. So we need I don't know. I mean, this is going to be redundant with a lot of things. Let's just see. Visual beam segments. So we want right. So seg here is the final segment. We have visual position end. So we're going to go p seg.visual position end p center, and then we're going to have p0 because we want to make a tube around, let's say k is 0.5. And then we should have some basis vectors on the visual beam segment. Although we can also figure out what they are if we need to. Visual beam segments is a new beam segment. At some point you got to rename those variables, but it's called that because at some point both were coexisting. All right, there literally is no, oh, there's a up vector. All right. All right. E1 seg.up vector E2 is seg cross product E1 seg dot direction. All right. You guys know what we're doing here. This is the thing that I learned to do once I finally fucking learned how to do 3D math in a reasonable way. All right, so we're going to want P E1 minus P we could actually make just 2 points. Lol. Minus K times E1 plus E2 plus K times E1 plus E2. You guys see what we're doing here? You guys see what we're doing here? All right, P minus okay. And then the normal for P minus, for example, with E1 is going to be plus E1, right? Because we went minus E1 from the thing. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. It's something like that, all right? This still won't do anything because we're not doing anything in the shader. Okay. So now we go to the shader. We go to the vertex shader callback. Maybe clamp to plane. What did we call this? Mirage clip plane parallel 0. But it's params dot that and like that. And this is going to be vec3 maybe clamped to plane of this is a vector 4, right? Yeah. Vec4 clip plane vec3 position return position. Right, we're being very incremental about our situation. And I already fucked it up. How? I'm just saying return position. Wait. Oh, did it just not ever recompile the shader before? Because I don't think adding this function did anything. Mirage params. I guess the Mirage params string gets generated. I mean, it's looking it up. Okay, well, maybe when we change the data structure right now, it doesn't notice that. So what do we do? Although, was this when I was editing? Probably, yeah. That's when I saved the file. Well, this is exactly what I hate in programming. This is my number one thing. Well, it's not the number one, but it's on the list. It is on the list of what I hate. Well, if I can't see the declaration of the struct, I can't really verify that the shader is seeing it, except it is because I can dereference it. So what is it possibly not like about this? We've added vector 4s. They're at the right alignment. We're supposed to assert if it isn't the right alignment anyway. Did I screw something up here? I don't believe so. We can get rid of all this. I don't know. Let's just restart the game and see if anything fixes, which it won't. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to debug. This is like, I try so hard when I'm making systems to have this kind of a problem not happen. And like, well, here we go. Right? Like what? To verify that this is the issue, I can always put these at the end. Well, that didn't matter, but so probably these also will not work, right? But I mean, this will probably work. Like if there's some cached version of the shader or something that I don't understand, then we're putting these back where they were, is the theory. So then it should appear, but then I wouldn't really be able to use these values anyway. Maybe it won't appear. It doesn't appear. Okay. Well, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with this. This might just derail the whole stream. So the programmer who normally deals with this stuff is on vacation this week. And we're just not supposed to have this kind of problem anyway. All this is supposed to just work. So this is one of those moments in programming where you're like, well, I could spend time to dig into what's going on. I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to. So we could just end up doing something else. There's definitely other things that we could do. Let me see if it appears. I mean, maybe it won't even appear if I do this. Now, there is one. Okay, there's one other possibility, which is, you know, because we had these no check-ins and stuff, our code might be out of sync. Although I don't think I would have done a partial update. I don't know. I don't know, man. It still doesn't work. Okay, well, maybe. Let's just. Where is this? Materials. Maybe I did something really dumb. Data, shaders, materials. Why did it skip? Dude, my space bar. This is like the worst message. What do you mean skipped? Why did you skip? Oh, it's not in source control. Did somebody move this file again after we... Oh, that's what could have happened. Like somebody fucking moved it again. Like they already moved it once, right when we started editing it. So if they moved it again and this is no longer... So that explains it. So then we're editing an old copy of the shader because we had it open from before it fucking moved, right? All right. Okay, so let's try running the game now without the extra thing. Dude, like fucking programming, dude. There's always something like this. Okay, it's back. Can I add this function? It doesn't refer to anything yet. Okay, good. So now we will go to the stuff that we just did. We'll bring this back. And we'll even be sporty and put him where we wanted him in the first place. And yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's still going. So we can say, oh, I'm looking at, I was like, wait, what? Okay, so the world position equals, so that's why you, by the way, that you always start by doing this, because like we just had 10 minutes of debugging to even get this, much less what we actually want to do, right? Okay, world position equals maybe clamp to plane params dot, again, what was this called? Plane or parallel. Mirage clip plane parallel 0 world position. This should do literally nothing. But to verify, we could say world position dot x plus equals 0.5, and now it'll be misaligned with the beam, hopefully. No. No. What? What the hell? Dude, I'm about to baby rage so hard right now. Although this might be, we have to read the shader because like maybe that's not actually used for anything. Although it seems to be. Oh, but we're not using world position as an output. Fuck. We have to do this bullshit about we gotta back transform the fucking planes. God damn it. I hate this. Like object space, the concept of object space. Well, actually, maybe we could just use output. What's in our vertex output? Does it have, I assume it has world position. Let's look. Vertex output. Vertex shader common. Output. Hopefully we just output a world space position. HPOS position. What is HPOS? This is the worst name for a variable ever. Okay. HPOS. So, right. So this is outputting in camera space, I think, like you would expect. And that's a fucking pain in the ass. So we might just put the planes in camera space. Although, wait, the normal and tangent frame is in object space. Position. Oh, output dot position is the world space. Okay. Fucking. This is in world space. This is in, I don't know what space. Okay. We're just going to save that. It's going to recompile every shader. Okay, good. I like that we're outputting a world space position. That is good. That is modern and good. So we go back to, okay, we still have this thing, so we got to get rid of that. Okay, our game's still running. That's good. That's good. So we're going to go dot float dot equals plane dot xyz times position plus plane dot w. right? Now we can go dot equals. So we only want the negative dots, right? In the case of a negative dot, we move the vertex. So we want to say min dot comma 0, right? So that gives us only the negative dots. And then we'll say position minus equals dot times plane dot xyz return position. And so the thing is, we only did this with one plane, and I don't know which one it is. So it could be the top or bottom. It could be that none of them are working. I don't really see anything happening here. So we could then just do it with all 4 planes and see if we see anything. If we turn on all 4, it could be that it happened there, but that the mirror beam is not enabling until the thing is in the mirror, which is one of the things that's originally the whole reason why we wanted to edit this, was we wanted it to work. But like, I should be seeing a mirror beam much earlier. And I thought we had a thing for that. So that also could be, it could be that we chose the top one, but probably some numbers are wrong. Oh God, wait, these things. We also added our 0.5. Oh, never mind. Output dot position. Remember this world position. Okay. It didn't like that. Shaders are not supposed to crash when you edit them. Undeclared identifier params. That's not supposed to crash us, asshole. All right, Mirage params it's called in this version. Oh, I haven't watched the Wookcache podcast about Arc VCS. Okay, it still didn't like that, but okay, this is completely useless error message as well, because DXC is giving us this. Like, it didn't get caught by our type system. No member called Mirage Clip Plane Parallel 0. Okay. I don't know why we don't give that error. What? Like what? Like what? Like what? Why are we not catching that in the shader language? Anyway. I believe I spelled that I copy pasted it, in fact. So this is another case where I don't know, dude. Um Okay, wait. Here. I think we want to do dot this comma this. I assumed that times would be dot product, but it's actually Hadamard product, right? Um, which is probably actually normal. It's just, and in fact, my brain knew it was Hadamard product, and I typed it anyway. I don't know. It's one of these days when you need more sugar in the brain. Okay, I think we got rid of that other error, but we still, of course, have this. Parameter dist is uninitialized when used here because you know that song Insane in the Membrane? It's because he didn't eat enough sugar. You've been trying keto for about 12 weeks. I mean, keto is probably good for a certain class of people who are in certain metabolic states, right? Seems like the Mirage params are, oh, that could be it. No, you're right. You're right. You are correct, sir. Thank you for that. God only knows how long it would have taken me to notice that. But yeah, this is a terrible error message. Like the irony is, dude, I spent years making a really good programming language that gives you good error messages, and then I have to use this, right? But I mean, this is sort of like the shader language that we did because we had to. We did it because we had to, because the industry is so messed up. But um, it's just frustrating because I put so much work into the main language to have to be dealing with it. Just should say use before declare, right? Like, come on, man. But there's various reasons why it might be. It should at least say this doesn't exist. you know, use before declare is a fancier version of this doesn't exist. All right. But maybe it's confused because it sees the declaration in the block and blah blah blah. All right. So um clip to the parallel planes. Clip geometry, actually squish it in so that we have closed mesh on all sides. All right. It still does not like this. I mean, these are terrible errors too, because the line numbers are like after we prepend all our data structure definitions or something. And so, well, there's probably, we output a bunch of data structure definitions, and then here's the vertex shader, and we output a bunch more, and here's the pixel shader, right? Oh, this, we're doing the wrong thing. We're dereferencing. This was params, right? It's just we dereferenced the wrong thing. Yeah. Okay, we're back. We're back. But you may notice we're not clipping still. It should be approximately lined up with the edges of the thing. So there's many reasons this could be wrong. It could be that we're just not setting the value correctly anymore, or we thought we were, but we're not. So the default plane value is set to be something really ridiculous, right? We could try a different plane, right? See if anything happens. Probably won't. Oh, there we go. See that? I mean, is that disturbing? It's a little weird on the backside, but if it's kind of like, we probably want it to be further out and more faded for a normal lateral move. We're just doing this for like a vertical move or something. All right, so let's just try this then. 0, 1, 2, 3. All right. It's like, I guess it's kind of Z fighting right there, right? But what we could do is we could take the original, we can avoid Z fighting with the original distance. Why is that? Why can we see inside the mesh there? Is it because we're drawing back facing triangles? Anyway, as you can see, it is working. So we can also, well, I don't know. I don't know what makes sense. We should at least see this. Maybe it won't work on the top side because of the late beam issue thing that I mentioned. Oh, it did a little bit. Let's see. It's weird, like the normals are kind of preserving the shape. That's another thing that's happening. So I think we want to flatten out the normals so that you just sort of see like flat mesh, right? So here, like the whole thing is well below the beam, but you still see it for a while. Okay. So, I mean, that's sort of a separate problem, right? But let's try, okay, we're just going to use some if statements and stuff. All right, so it's kind of bad style to do that, but we're going to do it for now. Can you say in, out? I guess so. Oh, let's just do this. In, out, vec3 position, in, out, vec3 normal, and we'll say if dist is less than 0, you really don't want dynamic branches in shader code, but this is probably turns into a C move. This is actually probably fine, but we could think about how to make it look more studly later. Normal equals plane dot xyz, and that'll pop, but we can interpolate that. But we want to change this call, all of these calls. So instead of this, we're going to go here. Output dot. Oh God, we need the fucking tangents and every. Just do the normal for now. Right? Probably messed up. Yep. Oh, we don't return the position. We just do that. Okay. I mean, that's not the worst, right? It's just when the whole thing goes out of the beam, it's just like a floating pancake for a while. But like I said, we can fix that. But it is a lot more readable now what's happening. And you can also see that we start the beam late, right? Because the thing's already like halfway in. We want to start it before any of it's in. I mean, I think we're going to want something better, but oh God, right. Because we're standing in the beam and we're taller than the beam. So it's chopping off our head, which is like a different problem. I think the normal's backwards. Yeah, there we go. It's like some headless horseman shit here. See, graphics programming is fun sometimes. You like the characters in this game are diverse racially. Well, so does your mom. I mean, in any game where you have a bunch of characters from a bunch of different worlds, like from different places out in the universe, they probably should be a variety of people. So where's the gray representation? Well, Tulsi Gabbard or whoever hasn't released the full UFO files, so we don't have enough information to model that representation. All right, so that's working a lot better, at least in terms of this downward clip, right? We do. So we probably do want the beam to be wider, which we can do in the gameplay code. Oh, you know what? So we need to decide. Well, we'll do this for now. But we need to decide, what do we do? Because the guy's head is still going to be chopped a little bit. We might, so we have this other fade in the pixel shader, probably. Anyway. Oh, it's not. He's not. Oh, he is barely chopped. Barely chopped. We can put in a little hack that says if it's a character standing up, increase by some amount the top plane, right? Like games are full of that kind of stuff. But it's almost. So then we need to look at, oh, I guess we were doing that stuff in the pixel shader or in the vertex shader further down, right? That's what I remember from previous stream. This thing, well, hold on, not that thing. Right. Okay, so now you can see we totally don't have any fade at this point. All right. And that's sort of giving away the fact that for some reason, when we start walking into the beam, you see the guy way out there. Like, I guess because the beam intensity is 0, but we're drawing the mirage, and we were relying on the clip. We could multiply this back in, like, you know, over time. Why the fuck is it crashing the game? It's called Mirage on T. When I edit a vertex shader, what? Dude, I told the team fucking a year and a half ago I didn't want this happening. Like, shaders are supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be able to edit them without restarting the game. I don't know why we're getting a delay there the first time. I think it's just because the shader isn't loaded. So we need to fix that. We just need to load anything that could appear dynamically like this. We need to load at startup. Okay. It's still happening. At least it's fading in now. It's like the actual beam effect is not synced with the on T, which is annoying. Oh, it's the... Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We can take that back out because... Like, I want it to be synced with... What am I trying to say? Okay, so the problem is, during this time, there's no clip planes during that initial fucking thing. or something, because there's that if statement. Okay, this must be, there's this code about like preemptive mirage, and that must be kind of misfiring. Oh God, we're getting into a huge, I wanted this to be something that I could just fully settle tonight, but I feel like that's not totally going to happen. Right. I feel like that's preemptive mirage firing. And the problem is preemptive mirage doesn't set up the beam. It doesn't, someone set us up the beam, right? And we want it to, because we want you to see the frickin' beam. So one thing I could do, I could turn this back on. And it's just masking out that glitch. Why though? Okay, wait. I have no idea what this function fucking does. r.rxy. We'll assume that that's what I think it is. Minus 0.8 times 3 and then 1 minus. Yeah, I think this just, I don't know. All right. So I don't know why that's seemingly chopping the edges off still. I guess. So the plane is supposed to be 0.75 out. So by 0.9, we really should be done. I don't know why I have to raise this so high. There we go. See, that's working now. Why? I don't know. Oh, this is world position. Why aren't we just using output dot position? Like, has that just been this redundant world computation? Yeah. I think the redundant world position computation has just been in there forever and doesn't matter. Okay, so that's why I was so confused, because we were seeing the clipped in position, the squinched positions, but it was doing the computation on the non-squinched positions. All right. There we go. This makes a lot more sense. Okay. and just have this be visible in the pixel shader, but preemptive mirage causes the mirage to be visible whilst we have no beam data, which means we don't clip it against the beam. This is bad. We need to reorient the if statements there, but I guess there's no problem in principle since we are saving off mirage beam fade point. So we could hack that to have more data, but we actually want the beam to start being visible during preemptive mirage anyway. So we really just want to start telling the mirror beam to appear under this circumstance. Once we do that, we will have parallel clip planes and can get rid of our XY again. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that will also make this rock appear sooner. That's so fucking annoying, that shader load, dude. I don't know why. Oh, it's because it's mirage of a crystal. So it's a variant of the crystal shaders. Yeah, see how... If I comment out the RXY, actually, we'll probably will see a similar thing for this, but vertical, right? So if I get rid of... If I get rid of this... Yeah, see how it appears and it's not clipped at all in the beginning? That's what was happening before. And then as soon as the beam turns on, it is clipped, but like far into it. So the whole reason I started doing all this is because this is interactively a very poor experience, because when an object's falling through a beam, the beam lighting up is your signal of when to push teleport, right? And right now it's super late. It's super late. And we took out one of these, but we have other things in the game that are very important moments that require you to do this. Know what I'm talking about? So yeah, however, it may be time to take the W on this for the moment. I mean, that looks bad right now. But we can also... We could figure out how to noise it or something. And honestly, it should fucking fade. Like... I guess we took out the global fade because... I don't know. We'll figure something out, but... Or we could get rid of this scissoring again. I mean, we could use the planes to do a higher quality fade, but just fade it to 0 like before. If it's a very soft fade, you won't see a problem. Maybe... Well... I don't know, the whole reason we did this. The whole reason we did these clipping planes was because of the annoyance. Like when things are falling vertically, if we don't clip them, then maybe it doesn't matter that they just appear really fast, because it, like, look how short that is. So even if I'm in the user level slow mode, here's user level slow mode. That's actually kind of fine. So maybe we don't do this clipping, but we do need preemptive mirage to happen. Like to put the beam. We need it to put the lotion in the basket, all right? Preemptive mirage. Wait, that's on the mirror. So I guess we just don't save the path on the mirror. Let's look at where this is assigned. Do preemptive mirage appearances. Where is this assigned? Oh, it's there. So if the mirror doesn't reflect anything actually, then okay, interesting. So we put it in these segments. We just, I guess, don't put those individuals. Let's see. Dragon segments. Oh my God. Copy dragon segments into beam data. That's what I'm looking for. Dragon segments into beam data. Update beam path. I mean, okay, let's go back here for a second. So if it's a mirror, we check the beam data visual beam segments. Let's just put a breakpoint here. All right. And we'll see what the status of all those values is. That's a useful technique. Where are we? 2748. Okay. Oops. All right, so 2748. That probably would have been fine actually as a breakpoint, but putting it there, we're going to go there. So we should get the mirror here. Oh. That's an enum. That's the ID of the reflector. So we don't have the mirror here unless we get it. Let's put this up here. Oh, the beam data gets copied to the mirage itself. Which is not there. Wait, beam data. Visual beam segments is not. Dragon segments is. So we put these on the mirage so that we know how to transform the mirage. All right. We want them to actually appear on the mirror though. So let's do this. Just so we can see that. Yeah, I mean, the fade before I'm realizing was fine, but I just wanted to play around with it and try some ideas. The fade is probably fine, but the playability, I mean, this is the difference between a good game and a not as good game, right? Is just that the people making the game notice stuff that they don't absolutely have to notice, and they try to make these things better, right? Okay, reflector. Or mirror star reflector. Okay. Actually, no, I guess we only put the beams on the mirage to begin with. I remember doing that now. Okay, well let's just go. Do we call copy dragon segments into beam data? My guess is no. My guess is no. Beams. I mean, we might if we keep falling or whatever. Okay. So maybe this could be because we've fallen far enough. Update mirror beam. Update mirror beams. Manage your mirages. Mirage reflector. I mean, this looks like it should go here every frame. Let's see, though. Whoops. So we're going to undo. There's no mirages right now. Okay. Mirage. Without the reflector. Oh, we get the mirror down here. We might not set the reflector. Okay, we do. Preemptive mirage. Okay, that's what we want. Update mirror beam. Okay, good so far. Beam on T is 0. Okay, well, what about next frame? On T is 0.06. Actually, are we still preemptive? No. I guess, I mean, when you're in the debugger and the timestamps are really long, it's easy to just fall really far in one step. Maybe that's what happened. Just be a little patient here. There we go. So the first time the on T is going to be okay, so we're still preemptive Mirage. Mirage on T is not 0. So we do have dragon segments. Update beam path. Copy dragon segments into beam data. I mean, okay. Oh, we don't set ID start and ID end. ID start only. ID start in this case should be the mirror. So is there a reason why we do that? Only if we pass segment source, which I guess we don't do. So when we call mirror scan, there's segment source, and I guess we don't do that. Let's see. This was in move transaction that we do preemptive mirage. Find or add mirror reflection. If there's already a preemptive or gameplay mirage, don't add a new one. Right. Okay. Mirror scan. So find or add mirror reflection should give us a reflector ID. Well, it should know a reflector ID. Reflection. Space colon colon. So we have a reflector. Oh, wait, we passed the reflector. Mirror dot, I'm blind. I'm blind. So when we do mirror scan, we just pass segment source equals mirror. Is your vibe coding AI gonna figure that out? Dude, I'm on some game industry forums, various ones. And some people in the industry want to do so-called agentic coding. That's all I'm to say about that. That's all I'm to say about that. Okay, so what are we even doing? Oh, we want to see the preemptive mirage happen sooner. Hey, look at that. Did you see that? It's still, well, I guess maybe the beam still isn't visible enough, but you see how now when the thing falls, you at least start seeing the clipping from the bottom. See that? See that? It's still a little bit weird because the mirror is taller than 1.0 units. So it looks like it's falling into the mirror a little more than is actually legal. Opus probably would have figured that out just fine, TVH. Fuck, no, it wouldn't have. If you think it would have, you don't understand how, like, there's like 19 different things that could have been. All right. You saw me find the right one and change it, but there's like 19 different things that it could have been. When programs get complicated, you would have spent hours with it changing the wrong thing and going like, oh, I'm sorry, I need to change this other thing. And you would get this fucking pile up of changes and it still wouldn't work. All right, so so the beam does not seem to appear that fast still. Whoa, why is it? Oh. It's a, do you see now? It's appearing on one side of the mirror, but not the other side. See that? See that? So it is happening earlier, but not even where we want, because where we want, like where we're looking is probably the source position of the object. That's where I'm looking right now. And then B, it really shouldn't take halfway through the fall for the beam to get big. So I don't know, maybe if it's preemptive, we know the thing's moving, so we make the beam bigger faster or something. We could look at that. Okay, so we need to figure out, basically we need to go back to that same place, and then when we're converting the beams, we're gonna skip over one of the segments but not the other, and we need to look at that now. It's probably like the end ID is not being set because we're not actually hitting the entity or something. That's what I suspect is wrong, but we're going to verify that. Did I see how Firefox fixed 5x more bugs last month with the new Mythos model? Dude, I do not believe anything that I'm reading about any of this stuff because the internet is full of people claiming 100x productivity improvements. And you can see what I think about that from my tweet today. The other thing, like when they say fixed 5x more bugs, like 90% of that is probably just, oh, we launched a bug fix initiative to see how well the AI does. And without the AI, we just wouldn't have launched a bug fixing initiative. So you're not even comparing apples to apples, right? Oh, look, we did a bug fixing initiative, so we fixed 5x more bugs. Like whatever. Oh, and 80% of the bugs are not really bugs, they're just trivial things that the LLM wanted to change. Like if you start looking into these stories, it's always like that. Like we're in this era where people think that they get cred from claiming that LLMs are revolutionizing their whatever. LLMs are turning them into elite shock troops, right? That's that's the message that everyone wants to project, and so everybody's going to say that. Are they useful? Yeah, a little bit. They're a little bit useful. Are they going to turn you into elite shock troops? I haven't seen it. Hella useful. I would say they're hella useful if you're a beginner or you do a lot of really uh, redundant, tedious boilerplate. A beginner that never wants to get better. Well, that's the danger, right? Okay, here's the thing. LLMs are the most useful when you're a beginner because when you're a beginner, you maybe don't even know how to approach the problem. You don't know what to think about and all that. And here you go. Here's some output that's showing you how to approach the problem and how to think about it. I think you're better off if you just ask the LLM when you're a beginner for a verbal description of what to think about and what the steps would be. But nevertheless, let's say you just output some code and it's helpful. Like we all know, people are kind of lazy. So like in reality, most people are just going to let it output the output and they're not really going to understand the output and they're not going to get as much better as they would even if they did the version I just said where they had the LLM output the explanation and then they wrote the code, right? So yeah, will that beginner ever advance beyond beginner? Maybe not. Maybe most of them won't. Your org only allows seniors to use LLMs. That's probably a good idea. I'm not sure that's good enough because again, people just like it's human nature. We want to be kind of lazy. Like and the charitable version of that is just we want to believe that these things are as good as they're being advertised to be and that we don't really have to write any code anymore. That's the marketing message, right? Like programming is over. You just tell the thing what you want it to do and it does it and it's great. And that's just not where we're at technologically. Not even close. Will we get to that point? I don't know. I think it requires fundamental increases in technology beyond what we have now. These systems need to be fundamentally different for that to really happen. But maybe we'll get there because we've had big advances in AI, right? So maybe we'll get there, but we are not there now. Anyone telling you we are there now doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm going to re up my drink. Dude, oh, there was a good. Let me see if I can find these on Amazon. What the hell were these called? Oh, yeah, yeah, yes. Okay. Let's. So I was at the bagel place today and they had this new version of of uh of what do you call it? the sparkling waters, and they're pretty good. And they've got this funny, like weird modern art situation. This doesn't have all the flavors. This doesn't have like pear flavor or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know where to order these. At $42. Oh, I guess that's fine. For 24, it's $2 each. That's kind of expensive for like ordering your own thing. But I want to find a store where I can only get these one by one. They had like a pear flavor or a peach flavor that was good. You've yet to hear a reason why it's not there yet? Because it's not there yet. That's just the facts. What do you mean? If it's there yet, then go write a hit video game by telling the thing what to do. Right? Like, is that not obvious? I'm just going to put this in my cart so I don't fear. We'll put both. But it, yeah. Liquid death. Oh, we got some root beer liquid deaths from Whole Foods today. Let's see if those are cold enough yet. All right, we're gonna try the root beer flavored liquid deaths. But it's so weird when these AI proponents in the chat or on Twitter are all like, "What do you mean you can't prove that AI is not awesome?" And it's like the burden of proof isn't on me. The burden of proof, like if you claim that something does something, then you should be able to demonstrate it doing that thing. Like that's just how everything works, right? You don't get to claim that you have an awesome UFO in your backyard that landed there and then you took it over and it's got a teleporter and an antimatter beam and it can get to Alpha Centauri in 15 minutes. And I say, I don't believe you. And then you go, you can't prove that I don't have that UFO in my backyard. It's cloaked or whatever. And I'm like, and my fence is high and it's buried and it's painted camouflage to look like the grass. It's like, that's not, the burden of proof is not on me in that case. That's just not how that works. You can't prove my cat can't program. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I go and say, "Oh, I want to see your cat program," you just like, well, he's not in the mood right now. He's resting. He had a long day of programming already. It's not too bad. It's not as good as a real root beer. Probably full of horrendous chemicals to make it taste this way, but it's not too bad. Anyway, though, lots of people believe the AI hype. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. The technology will probably continue to improve. It looks to me like it's improving very slowly. So I don't foresee it being useful to me for most use cases. Uh, Certainly not within the life cycle of this game, but probably not for the next game either. Um, at some point, it may become useful such that I would want to use it, but it's a lot of stuff would have to happen probably. Anthropic executed themselves. Well, they just did this deal with Elon where they rented out his whole thing. Are there any use cases you like? Well, I've explained this before. I don't want to rat hole on AI. The main use case for me would be, how do I use this API, which is not like, I don't go to try to use a new API very often. But when I do, so in the before days, before we had LLMs, if I was going to try to learn how to use a new API, I would usually be kind of hating life for a little bit because the documentation's usually awful, right? And so I'd be looking for example code because I just want to see an example code, right? To understand how something works. And then often, like if it's an example from Microsoft, it's like 3,000 lines of boilerplate app that you have to parse through for like the 10 lines you care about or whatever, right? Um, so that's a thing where I could ask an LLM, like, hey, what are the relevant functions if I want to do this following thing with this API? How would I call them? And you'll get back an answer that's at least useful for learning. It may not be exactly what you want to do, depending, but I think it accelerates that process a lot. So that is a way in which I personally would use an LLM for programming in 2026. Would I use it for find bugs in our code? Probably not. It probably could find some, but there would also be a lot of false positives. So, you know. And yeah, like if you just have a regular linter or whatever, that's already a go find bugs that's at least kind of useful. You found that it hallucinates a lot when interpreting APIs. Yes, that is the case. But if you keep that in mind, I think it's still faster. Like even though you have to, vet what it tells you and verify that it's true, I think it's still significantly faster than the old way I would have done it. Right? Would I let it write the code to use the API? No. No, I wouldn't. I mean, well, I might if it's something like initialize OpenGL or get the window on the screen or something. In Windows, you have to do this really stupid thing, or you make a dummy GL context and init it, and then query the real context from the fake context, and then destroy the old thing. I might let it output that, but I would go over it line by line and make sure that I understood everything that was happening, and I'd probably change the variable names and all that. So there are some things I would use it for, but not like there's a huge universe between that and, the claims that are being made. Grok integration in X is useful. Do you ever use that? Not really. I don't understand. I mean, I understand from a promotional aspect why you would put a Grok icon on every single tweet, but I don't know why I would click explain this post on a tweet almost ever. It just doesn't seem like useful functionality to me. Oh, dude, George just dropped. George just dropped a diss. Oh, I don't have Twitter on. Okay. Where's I guess it's not showing me his whole feed. That's not how it works. He just tweeted something 4 hours ago, but I don't have an account, so I can't see it. Anyway, Primeagen retweeted something from Tiny Corp that I think is fully accurate. Oh, someone linked it. There we go. I mean, these are the kind of claims. AGI is here. Capitalism is ending soon. The bar for shipping velocity is inhuman. Everyone is racing to build final companies. Like everyone's just creating these scenarios. Like they want to be living in the singularity so bad. So bad that they're just straight up hallucinating stuff that isn't true. Although I bet I can't click on this, of course. I bet this guy has an AI startup where he makes some script kiddie AI product, right? Because every time that someone is making these kind of claims, it's always that. You click on their profile and it's like CEO buttplug.ai or whatever. And it's like, all right, great. Thank you. Thank you. I was right on the money, law. Let's see. Yep. Yep. He has 30,000 followers, so that's not nothing, but every time, without fail, every time. Every time. But like, you can see why I get a little tired of the claims. I mean, even, if you run a supposedly AI, supposedly company, you should at least have some standard for taking the term AGI seriously and differentiating between AGI and a frickin' current technology level LLM. That is my opinion, sir. All right, so update mirror beam. And like the only retort, you say that stuff on Twitter and you'll get 100 people saying, "You're such a boomer, you're going to be left behind." And it's just like, guys, r/fan fiction is over that way. All right, so I think it's in update beam path, right? Copy Dragman segments into beam data. Okay, okay. So there, we do this one. And then okay, well that has ID start. It doesn't have an ID end, but that probably doesn't matter. Maybe it's in pass 2. I mean, we could just look at the segments to figure out, like, we're just going to skip through this. Prior length 23. That seems about right. So beam data should have visual beam segments now. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Data, comma 2. So I hope Ryan has replied to that guy to delete his account, but he might not have seen that one. So if he hasn't replied, delete your account, please refer him to that tweet. Length 0. Why is length 0? That would probably cause us not to appear. Let's see if anything else is weird. Oh, ID start and ID end are the same. Oh, we're passing the wrong entity. We done passing the wrong entity, right? So the length. When we say reflection source, we probably mean, where is that? So when we say segment source, we don't mean the mirror. All right? We mean the other thing. Yeah, I'm sure the LLM would get that. We mean E. E to the iPi plus 1. How come I don't use the rad debugger? Just because it just costs time and attention to switch tooling in the middle of a game, and I prefer not to. Unless there's going to be a massive productivity improvement, right? I think rad debugger is going to be, there we go. They're synced now. I think they should appear faster, but we'll work on that now. I think rad debugger is going to be nice. And it might be nice already. It might be nicer than Visual Studio already. It's just from people using it. I've just heard that what they've said so far is like, yeah, there's a few usability issues yet. And so I'm just going to let other people deal with the usability issues. And that'll be fine. And then I'll swoop in later. All right, so this is already going to be a little better playability wise because the beam appears sooner. I really would like it to appear even sooner, but that's probably not realistic. Let's just make sure. So that's the thing, is the mirror is so much taller than the square, but the way it should work is when we start moving, like as soon as we pass that line right there that the crystal's approaching, it should kind of start. Yeah, see that? It's very thin for a while. It also should probably line up with the crystal. That's something we can talk about separately later. But yeah, so by the time the crystal's fully in the frickin' square, the beam is just, you know, it's just small. So let's go look at that. Update mirror beam. Update mirror beam. So do we mark the mirage as preemptive? Get mirror source promised beam on T. What? 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 That's... Oh, okay. That's a totally different... That's a different scenario. That kind of doesn't make sense to me, but we'll leave it for now. Okay, so here we're deciding things. I'm looking for the thing that updates the on-t dot mirage on-t, or no, what is it? Is it... There's a thing where I interpolate the height. New beam segment, direction up vector, visible this frame. Length. Okay, that... Is it in Mirage? Beam cross-section dimensions. Beam cross-section dimensions. Okay, we have this rate. We have a rate. So if the Mirage is preemptive, I don't think we can tell that from looking at the Mirage. If preemptive rate times equals 4. Maybe tune this for falling versus non-falling. Preemptive is false, but if Mirage dot reflector, if E and E dot entity type is equal to mirror, then mirror down E mirror. If Mirage is equal to mirror dot preemptive Mirage. Cleanup, we could just flag the Mirage as being preemptive when we create it rather than doing all this. Preemptive equals true. Okay, so something like that. Okay. See that? Bam. That's going to be much more playable. You see the beam a lot sooner. How does it look when we're walking in? When we're walking in and out, it's a little too fast. So actually, let's change this to fast. And in fact, you know what? Instead of setting this variable, we're just going to multiply the rate in the block. If is falling reflected, oh geez. If this and it's falling, then rate times equals 4. So we just want this special fast rate for falling things. Make the beam appear much faster, since the beam is the signal for when you can teleport. Maybe also for like crystal rovers, like maybe for crystal rovers, etc., we'd rather just look up, just store the rate info on the preemptive mirage and base this on the movement speed in move transaction when creating the preemptive mirage. Okay, that's my idea. Okay, so that's soft again. That's reasonable, and that's a lot better, dude. That's so much better. We have scored a victory for playability today. I still missed right there. We could always do a few more things, like okay, so now the question is, if I just take out the stuff we added today about maybe clamped at plane, how does that look now? Make a Myling Shaner. I think it's probably fine, right? We hypothesize that we don't need this. Everything happens fast enough that I think you don't really notice. It's a little weird, like it doesn't fade out fast enough, but I think I would take the W. It's because we're doing this RZ thing. But anyway. So if we do this in the slow mode that we give the user, it's this speed. Dude, that's so much time. So much time. And it's so much better. The clipping could look cool once finished up a bit more. I agree, but I'm a little, you know, I'm in finish the game mode right now. This was originally supposed to be a kind of a shitty looking game, And we decided to make it look really nice at incredible expense. So I don't know. I feel like we've kind of done enough sometimes. At least, I want to get the pressure off in terms of story stuff. I want to get a lot of that squared away. Um, and then we can circle back. But yeah, we can definitely. There is a list of effects that could be improved, and we were talking about some of them today. There's definitely some that need more help than this is the thing as well. So if we're even just talking about effects. But yeah, my main concern, so as you know, there's some sections of the game where this is one of the main activities that you do. And I just want it to be more playable. And I think the fact also that we changed slowdown and speed up time to be much nicer controls, because the set time rate thing is just interactively annoying, right? So I guess the other thing is that this beam doesn't fade out. So if you go late, you still need to go early. If you go late, the beam hasn't faded, and I think we're gonna want to do something about that later. But again, I think it's a lower priority. Like once it's started falling below into the next square. Actually, maybe we could take care of that here. Why not? Let's just, we did all the learning to get to the problems. Let me go back here. Clean up. These parallel are not currently used in the shader. We might use them again, though, to do higher quality effects. So I am leaving them for now. Okay, so add coyote time after teleport. I mean, there's things we could do. It's just we don't tend to like to interrupt transactions. But that's a case where we could, like this very simple case of something falling by itself. Like I think we already interrupt if a stone is skipping, for example, right? So we could just add that. Maybe that's better. That probably is better than making the beam fade out. MT. What do we do when we see a skipping stone? Cannot mirror teleport until another skip happens. Okay, that's probably a little different. If it's skipping. Oh, that's if we teleport. Maybe we don't. I think we don't. Is that true? Do you have to mirror a skipping stone strictly early? That doesn't sound right. Can you suggest a tiny pause after the teleport? The thing is, that would break some things in the game. We had that, and it breaks some stuff, and so we decided not to. We decided not to. I'm really tired today. Is Order of the Sinking Star entirely single player? Not if you play with your mom or your dad. If I push a block onto a mortal, will it drag their body against a wall? And what is with chat today? It definitely doesn't seem like you have to mirror skips early. Yeah, so maybe the next step of this is for me to debug how, like, the gameplay code is so complicated, right? That it's like sometimes I have to do archaeology to figure out where things are happening. Um, we can check something else. Instead of is skipping, we could check in move trends. No? Okay. Dude, I don't. Yeah. I am kind of tired, as I've said a few times now. So it's not the best time for me to think about this, but I think we're not going to do pizza because I'm kind of not hungry enough right now. There's a bit where the beam is still visible and you can't mirror though. Well, what it probably is, okay, well here's how this would work. Is if it's in a skip, so you can bring up F7, I think it is, to show the transactions, right? And you can slow down time, and if it adds the skip transaction to the next square and it's yellow, it's not actually in the next square yet, right? So the transaction isn't committed. Um, so probably if you can teleport late, you can teleport while it's still yellow. If that transaction turns green, it means it's committed. And then it's in the next square and it's too late, pal. Now, and it's probably just that the fade rate of the mirror beam does not match the movement speed, and so it takes a little longer for the beam to fade. We could think about trying to make that more robust or something. There's other things we could do though too, like if we wanted to widen timing on that, we could say, look, if you're skipping and you're in a mirror beam, and we don't have to commit you at the normal time, we could move the commit time to later, which gives people more time to teleport. There's a bunch of things in the gameplay code where we could do stuff like that relatively easily because it's engineered for that, and we just don't do it because there's just so much else happening. Um, do you have a state transition diagram? What is going on with people? Um, yeah, this root beer doesn't have caffeine, right? I hope. Calories 10. Doesn't say caffeine. Oh, dude, it's got stevia extract. Can't drink it. Um, falling is more of a constant speed thing. Yeah. Um, still though, I would like to. I'm a little too tired to do this right now, so I'm gonna take the W on these changes. But I still have a bug open on this, right? So the next step is gonna be, well, I gotta update. The comment below is not currently true since we commented out the parallel clip planes, but it may be, we may change it again. You know what? I am starting to get hungry now. Anyway, like I have a bug open, and so next time I go look at it, it can just be about that. About how does this work for skipping stones? Does it work for skipping stones? Like, can you actually, are you still running the game? Can you check that for me? Like, can you mirror a stone after it started moving to the next square, but the transaction is yellow? Is the question. All right, let me heat up a pizza. There is a pizza place in Boulder, Colorado called Barchetta, and they have a pizza called the Red Barchetta, which has red items on it. And one of the red items is double, count it, double amount of pepperoni by default, which is how I like to order pizzas, but they just do it. It's on the menu, double pepperoni. It's good times. Yeah, you can do it up until the transaction fully commits. Okay. So in that case, there just is some code making that happen. And next stream, when I'm not tired, who knows? It might even be tomorrow morning. We like Saturday morning streams sometimes. Although I need to go do some kung fu tomorrow because I didn't do any today. Um, it'll be easy enough to figure out because we just look at where does the teleport move get added and sort of step back from there. Well, Maybe this happens automatic. Oh, you know what it is? It's in this stuff. It's in Resolve. Remember when like we were looking at this some streams ago. So there's some teleport handling. Vanilla support con. This is not a support. Okay, down here. Down here. Pizza. You know, I always say the name of this programming language is not official yet. What if I just name it the pizza programming language? That would be a very popular name, right? Hmm. This looks like it already will do something. So I kind of don't understand why it doesn't. But that's just going to be the question for next time. This looks like it just says if we're teleporting and there's already a move for the same entity that is a falling move, then remove the conflict. There's no conflict. So either we're not getting here because somebody else is refusing the move first, or maybe this is working that way and I'm just wrong about something. Claude unit testing. Yeah, that's not going to happen. What drew me to Kung Fu? Well, the spark was planted in my mind when just I was living in Austin and I met a girl there. And she told me how she had done Kung Fu and they did perception exercises as part of that. And she really liked that and missed it and felt like her perception was duller. And I kept that in mind. And then a couple years later, when I moved back to San Francisco, I was like, let me just look around to see what the options are. And there was a Kung Fu school and I went there. That's how that happened. Hope I get on a chance to go on the Drachneck podcast. I doubt that will happen. I didn't know there was a podcast. So I really don't know who the indie game developers are these days. So like there's a different podcast that's not super popular, but it's an indie game interviewed developers podcast and I looked down the list and I didn't recognize any everybody over the 20 or 30 episodes that I saw. But you look in the YouTube comments and they know who these people are. So I don't even know, dude. Will I stream Subnautica 2? Yeah, probably. Looking at the transactions while falling, they just issue way quicker, but I think you get the same late behavior. It just doesn't help as much because the transactions are so quick. So then in this case, I could do the thing where it doesn't commit till even later. And that won't help a ton still, but it'll help a little, probably. That's useful to know that that's working though. Thank you for that. All right, let's delete. We're gonna take the W. And it's just good. This code has been checked out or modified on this machine for like a week. And it's just good to fuck. Yeah. Emacs, just shut up. Like, how is Emacs that bad? Like, it just freaks out when you have a modified file. And it's like it's trying to be interactive, and but you just keep it's like the focus is somewhere that you don't know, and some other message is popping up, and you're like, I don't care about any of this. Just it's yeah, yeah. All right, stop it. All right, so commit. Um, just waiting. Completely switch to focus. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I use Emacs is because I don't want to context switch my tools that I use every day, right? And like take that hit while I'm in the middle of a game. So, whoops. I did not mean to click that. I'm just checking over all the changes. Seems good. Make the behavior of teleporting a falling object nicer by making the beams appear when there is preemptive mirage. Yeah. So there's a few things we can do. Of course. So we can try to make the fall commit later. We can make the beam fade out faster when you're falling, which at least like you want the visual cue to be centered on the time when you can do the thing. So if it goes past when you can do it, that's bad news because you're telling the player the wrong thing. Bitching about what? Oh, all sorts of things. All sorts of things. He had to list all the reasons why I'm a bad person. There's stuff I could say, but I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. We finished off the root beer. We could do some cards to cool off while we're waiting for the update. I always just do a full update. We didn't have to. We just had to update the strings file that was conflicting. But we're updating this giant level that has tons of stuff in it. Let's do some cards. Switch editors when Zachtronics makes one. Dude, a Zachtronics programming editor would be the most gnarly, hard to deal with thing ever, because that's why the game designs are funny, is because everything's so limited, right? So like the editor would be like, I don't even know. I don't even know how it would be. I don't even know. Boom. 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 Look at that. Look how well we are doing. I haven't heard the update beep yet, so I assume it's still going. Still going. Still going. Ah, there we go. There we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a fucking conflict. Fuck you. Okay, that's at least an easy function to fix, because all we did was, we'll double check this, but all we did was this thing. So right before spawner dot position. I don't know why the whole function is conflicting. That seems, maybe someone like edited the indentation or something stupid. All right, so let's make sure we can still compile and run. Nope. Come on, man. Mirage clip planes parallel. Oh, oh, this is in render frame. Someone added another call, I guess. I don't know what this is. Oh, someone inlined this function? Does this no longer exist? Is that what's happening? It's hard to understand diffs sometimes. That's why it conflicted, is because someone deleted the whole thing and moved it here. I don't... What the fuck? Who did this? Why? This should not really be inlined here. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. I just, like, I don't think you should put a ton of stuff into a function like this, but whatevs. Maybe there's a good reason. Maybe there's a good reason. All right. But like, it's literally just inlined. Like, I just, like, when a function is doing one specific thing, I think it's fine if it's a long function and has lots of inlined code. But this is just like, do a bunch of stuff for a bunch of different entities in the game, and I'm not sure. Like, it just becomes hard to understand what you're looking at some point because there's so many different things. I don't know, but I'll bring it up. Maybe somebody had a reason. It is working. That is working better. So we take the W now. All right. We have succeeded. We will just go back here and try to succeed here by doing the things. I was annoyed today. I said lots of bad words today. I got to get out of the habit of saying bad words. Not a good habit. Don't say bad words, kids. I think I got into that habit when I was really young because I just wanted, I felt like a nerd and I wanted to seem cooler or something, right? Like, I don't remember exactly what my mindset was at the time. But at some point, it just becomes a habit. And I like when I actually get myself out of the habit, actually. So, you know. Look at all the cards flying off the screen. Look at all the cards flying off the screen. We're going to get Strength Arcana. Strength Arcana. All right. Cool. We did that. That's our homework assignment. You can't remember how to get out of the first room. Well, get good. Get good. There's another mirror. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We did some good stuff with mirrors. As you see, you know, sometimes we just play around with stuff a little bit before we end up with the final thing. This might be pretty close. We didn't end up doing the plane squinching, but it was fun to just implement that and see that happen. And I think we have substantially improved the timing on the mirror teleports. However, you know, it is still a little bit hard to hit if you don't slow down time. Um, but I think, you know, if we do the hack that I'm talking about, where we let you commit late on the way down, that's a quarter of a turn, right? And we could also go early. Like if you're moving into a place where this is a more of an expensive query to do, but like if you're moving into a place where you would be reflected by a mirror, you could actually commit early into the row, because the preemptive mirage happens when you're in the row above, right? So we could actually, in theory, expand it in both directions and give you an extra half a square, which is a lot, I think. Like total, a quarter of a square one way and a quarter of a square the other way. We could give you even more than that. Who knows? Like if we really wanted to work on this, I think it could be made quite comfy. All right, everyone. I hope you have a good weekend. We may stream on that weekend. We may not. Who can predict? We'll see. And I'm going to send you to the world's foremost LLM user, where you will surely have a good time. And I'll see you later.